Hey y'all, what's up, what's good? It's your girl Michaela Janae here, back with another video. Happy September. I got my vanilla dirty chai latte at Pumpkin, so your girl's in a fall mood. Even though it's like 70 or 80 degrees outside, it's fall, okay? That's why I have on my little sweater, because it's fall in my mind. So today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite cozy hobbies, and that is reading. I'm going to be going over my August wrap up, every book that I read in the month of August. First, let me start off by saying that I did recently join a book club with a new social club that I joined. That's very exciting. I have been posting like a few reels about the social club that I joined. So this month I do have a book that is a little bit different than what I usually read, because I read it with the social club. So I'm going to start off with that first. If I am a little nasally, it is because I am feeling a little under the weather. My allergies have been acting up with the slight weather changes. It hasn't been as hot and it's been kind of rainy, so my allergies are acting up for the first time in a very long time. I definitely need to get me some sea moss, but let's hop into it. So this month's, well, August's book club book was Funny Story by Emily Henry. If you are an avid reader, you know who Emily Henry is. Her books are super popular. They went like viral on TikTok. So many people loved Beach Read and book lovers. I've never read anything by her until Funny Story, okay? First of all, whenever I read something that is not strictly clean, a Christian romance, I do look up someone's spice rating. So there is this account that I follow. Let me put the account right here, over on Instagram, and she reviews pretty popular books, and she gives you the spice rating, and she gives you the closed door scene modifications to where you know when the spice is coming up and you completely skip those chapters. So that is what I was able to do for this book. Thank God she had already read it and reviewed it for me. That being said, let me read you guys the synopsis, okay? It says, Daphne always loved the way her fiance Peter told their story, how they met on a blustery day, fell in love over an errant hat, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their lives together. He really was good at telling it, right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his best friend Petra, which is how Daphne begins her new story. Stranded in beautiful Wayne Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian that barely pays the bills, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex. Scruffy and chaotic, with a penchant for taking solace in the sounds of heartbreak love ballads, Miles is exactly the opposite of practical button-up Daphne, whose co-workers know so little about her that they have a running bet that she's either FBI or in witness protection. The roommates mainly avoid one another until one day, while drowning their sorrows, they form a friendship and a plan. If said plan also involves posting deliberately misleading photos of their summer adventures together, well, who could blame them? But it's all for show, of course, because there's no way Daphne would actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, right? Okay, that was a mouthful, and that was very hard to say. First of all, let me go ahead and give you guys my rating. This book for me was a 3 out of 5 stars. While I was reading it, let me not lie to you, because me and the book club definitely all had mixed feelings about this book. They said it wasn't her best book, but while I was reading it, to me in my head, it was a 4. I really did enjoy this book. I enjoyed the writing, and I really felt like I was engrossed in the story. But once I got towards the end, that's when the rating started to drop for me to a 3, and let me tell you why. This book had so many side characters with such major issues that it took away from the main story for me. Not only was this book like highly unrealistic, because why would you move in with the man whose girlfriend stole your fiance? Like, it doesn't make sense. Very unrealistic. But I know books are like a fantasy, okay, I get that, that's fine. But they had Miles's sister in the book, and to me her plot line was so unnecessary, and it was like very confusing. You didn't really understand why she was there. Of course they went over why she was there, but like, it was just unnecessary. It was taken from the main story. Daphne also had so many friends, and then their story was engulfed in it. Daphne's mother was a whole nother ordeal. They wanted her to come off as great, but the way that they was depicting her, I was like, is the mother-daughter relationship actually that good? I don't really think so. And then there was Daphne's father, and they had a lot of childhood trauma just from her having that lack of a father in the home all the time. And then they had the father's new wife come in, and they just popped up on Daphne. I don't really think that's a spoiler. There was so much going on in this book, and there was so many choices that Daphne made that I just did not agree with, that I just did not like. And it wasn't anything major morally wrong, but to me Daphne never stood up for Daphne. There were certain things that I guess Emily Henry wanted to come off as, oh, I'm standing up for myself. Certain things that she let slide when it came to Miles Miles or the relationship with her mother and father. I just feel like she never had her I'm strong, I'm confident moment in this book. And when it comes to books that kind of lean heavy into the women's fiction, and I feel like this one did, while it was a good mix of women's fiction and romance, I want them to be a little bit stronger. She never got her strength. I understand you get knocked down pretty hard when it comes to being left by your fiance for his childhood best friend that he literally told you not to worry about. That's pretty stressful, and it could really attack, you know, your self-esteem. But she never really bossed up how I wanted her to. And let me just say, once you read this book, you'll know, to me, in my mind, let's talk about it in the comments, Miles never really got over Petra. I don't feel like Daphne really addressed that enough. The stories and the things they did within the book were very interesting. I loved it. Yeah, I just don't know about her. I probably wouldn't read her again, but I did appreciate that it was a low spice. I was completely able to skip the spice. So if you're looking for a popular read to read in your book club, this one is pretty safe. Okay, so now we're going on to my Christian clean romances. The first book that I read was Second Chance Ranch by Liz Isaacson. It says, after an injury ends his time in the army, Squire Ackerman, I really did not like that name while reading this book. I don't like the name Squire, returns to his family ranch in Three Rivers to manage it. Kelly Armstrong, a recently divorced single mother, has come to interview for an accounting position at the ranch. Squire and Kelly have a history together, as Squire asked her to prom a few years ago and never got an answer. He still harbors feelings for her, but is determined to maintain distance to protect himself from getting hurt. Once Kelly is hired at the ranch, her present begins to bring back too many good memories, and Squire finds himself longing for the connection they once had. As they spend more time together, Squire tries to keep his emotions in check and maintain control over their interactions. His military training helps him keep a stoic facade, but the more time he spends with her, the harder it is for him to ignore his feelings for Kelly. As Squire and Kelly work to save the ranch and navigate their complicated relationships, can they also give love a second chance, follow God's plan for them, and build a family out of heartache? Not too wordy of a description, kept it short and sweet without telling too much. To me, this was not only a good romance, but it was also a mystery, because there was a lot going on at Squire's family ranch. They were missing some money, and Kelly was an accountant, and she was like helping to find the money. That was very interesting to me. This book kept me enthralled in it. Once I kind of got a little deeper into the book, the beginning was a little slow for me because I felt like I was missing stuff. Get the story of what happened to them when they were younger. Like, they didn't outright share it at first. You just knew that they knew each other, something happened, and Kelly like ignored him at that time. But once you get into the book, everything's explained about their past, and I feel like it was really sweet, and I really loved the faith elements in it. They were moving towards God together and including God in their decisions, and that's what I really like when it comes to a Christian romance. I love when they pray about the decisions, pray about dating each other, and they're really conscious of God's will when it comes to them dating. She was a single mother, and I like that the child wasn't too involved, but it was pretty good. Was it the best thing I ever read? No. So I think I would give it like a 4.5, because I really did enjoy it, and I really enjoyed the mystery. Okay, so next up is How to Kiss Your Best Friend by Jenny Proctor. Oh, pause. While I'm looking this up, let me just tell you that I did recently download the Kindle app. I don't have a Kindle, of course, and I don't have Kindle Unlimited, but I am thinking about getting Kindle Unlimited, because if you are someone who likes to read closed door, clean Christian romances, so many indie authors are featured on Kindle Unlimited, and that's exclusively where they have their books for free or cheap, or they run on a sale, and that's the only way I can get it. Like, they don't run the sales on their websites and stuff like that, or through Apple Books. So your girl is thinking about becoming a Kindle girly. If any of you who watch these videos have a Kindle, or you have some experience with Kindle Unlimited, please let me know. I think I do want to go ahead and subscribe to Kindle Unlimited. They were saying that it wasn't that expensive, because your girl is kind of like tapped out at her local library, and I have been finding books on Prime reading. I am a Prime subscriber, but my dad is a Prime subscriber, and I'm reading under his account. But, and it says, Kate Fletcher is my kryptonite. She's also my best friend, former best friend. I'm not sure what you can call it. When we grew up attached at the hip, then she left Silver Creek and me to travel the world. Important thing is, Kate is back, temporarily, and I'm still in love with her, permanently. But something is different now. The attraction doesn't seem one-sided. I don't think I'm imagining the heat in Kate's eyes or the chemistry crackling between us. But will that be enough to keep Kate here, when for as long as I can remember, all she wanted to do was leave? I'm determined to give her reasons to stay. Family, connection, roots, and me. I'll have to start with sparks and fire, but if I take this step, there's no turning back to simple friendship. And if she doesn't feel the same way, I might lose her again, this time for good. Once again, the synopsis is short and sweet, and we love that. Okay, so just to start off, this one right here was a 5 out of 5 for me because I loved how it started off from the guy's point of view. I don't remember his name, but the girl's name is Kate. He was a very good narrator of sharing his feelings, how he felt about her. He had brothers, and they were a really funny part of it too. I already know that the brothers have their own books, and I think it's like 3 other brothers, so it's 4 in total. And of course they have a family farm. It is set in a small town. I love a small town setting, I really do. And he is head over heels for his childhood best friend, but she is a world traveler. She doesn't want to stay stuck in a small town. She just wants to go and live her life, and she really gets that from her father, who left her mother and their small town and went on to overseas, like Europe, England, to go work. And she would go over there and visit him, and she just fell in love with traveling and living his lifestyle. So she left right after high school, and the man has been in love with her ever since. But of course she does not know that. She comes back in town to clean out her grandmother's house. Her grandmother recently passed away. She missed the funeral. She felt guilty about that, so she wants to come home, clean out the house to sell. And her mom is like, you know, clean it up how you want to, you know, start to redecorate if you want to, do whatever you need to, I'm gonna leave you the car, blah blah. So basically the mama is kind of wanting her to be home. You figure that out during the book. This one is once again a 5 out of 5 for me because it was just so enjoyable. I love when, you know, the guy falls first, and I loved reading his point of view. To me, the whole book could have been his point of view, but I liked getting in Kate's mind just a little bit to know what she was thinking at the times, because you want to make sure that she's on the same page and really cherishing him, because his heart was so fragile in this book. I loved his love for her, and I love seeing her slowly begin to fall for him and understand like, hey, I really do want this relationship. Third act little conflict wasn't that bad, but I love how he was like standing up for himself. He was like, no, I'm not about to chase her. I'm not gonna do too much. She gonna have to come to me because I've loved her for a very long time. It's her turn to do some work. And she really did have some work to do, and she did it. She was understanding. I love the relationship between her and her parents. Was it strained on both ends eventually? Yes. To me, it was worked through really well, and I like that the character was strong and she wasn't letting what the parents did really hold her down. Once things started to come to light, she really opened her eyes to the wrong that both parents did, and she understood why her mom acted the way she acted. I love that. Once all that was revealed, it was kind of like a surprise to me. I couldn't tell what the relationship was between the mom and dad, and it was very interesting. One thing that I didn't like that I didn't get more information on was the grandmother. Her grandmother was like low-key a hoarder. She had so much stuff from QVC and HSN that she's brought over the years. And to me, that was almost a mystery, because I'm like, Kate didn't see it growing up. So I'm like, where was all this stuff? I low-key thought the mama brought it all. I don't know. They didn't really go into what the grandmother was dealing with for her to buy that much stuff and then hide it. So that was pretty interesting to me. I wanted to know more about that. I wanted to know more about the mom's husband. That's why it is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. But most of Jenny Proctor's books are. I absolutely love her writing. It was on point. Okay, so the next book that I have is Ship Fate. This book is by Dulcie Dameron, and I actually was approved for an ARC of this book, so I'm so glad that I was chosen. I did receive an ARC, but these thoughts are my own. I wrote a review on Goodreads. I am starting to use my Goodreads account a little bit more, so definitely follow me on Goodreads. I'm trying to do better. I want to leave more reviews for you guys because I feel like I don't see enough women of color reviewing clean Christian romances, so I want to do that, give you guys my thoughts. So go ahead and follow me on Goodreads. I will link it in the description box below. But I'm so thankful that I was approved for this ARC because I loved the writing. It was so enjoyable for me. And this was a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. So let's talk about the synopsis. It says, to say Lola Brighton was excited about unearthing a shipwreck off the coast of Willow Cove for the summer didn't even begin to describe her giddiness over this new job. Treasure hunting, the beach, sand in her toes, and sun on her skin, a grumpy fisherman who can't seem to stand the sight of her, but surely once Perry gets to know her, he'll like her, right? And why, when she finds out a secret about him, does she want to be the one to show him that happily ever afters aren't just a thing for fairy tales? Despite his surly exterior, Lola knows there's a heart as deep as the ocean under all that rugged handsomeness. As a marine archaeologist, digging up priceless artifacts is what she does, but excavating Perry's heart, that might be her toughest job yet. Once again, I love a short and concise synopsis. The blurb was not too long and it didn't tell too much. Now, this book was very enjoyable. I loved her writing. I loved their banter, and he was just a very likable book boyfriend. Someone said when they were reviewing it that it gave Luke and Lorelai vibes, and I definitely get that. He was truly grumpy. He wasn't like faking it. He had a really hard past due to a breakup he had. He found the love of his life and she kind of like left him, deserted him in his small town. Once again, this is set in like North Carolina. I read so many North Carolina books. I feel like North Carolina is the book writer's favorite small town for some reason. Like, come to Louisiana, we have a lot of small towns too, girl. Or I like when they do Texas, but apparently North Carolina is where it's at for the book world. Saying she's a marine biologist, so she's looking for someone to water taxi her and her team back to this shipwreck so she can investigate, see if it needs to be dug up and the artifacts to be placed in her museum that she's working for. But first she has to like search it out and stuff. So her boss is actually her ex, but it's really based on her trying to force him to become friends, and then they get into a relationship. I don't like when it takes too long in other books, but in this one they was just swift for her. She was like, now that we like each other, can I go ahead and call you boyfriend? Let's do that. Okay, so I like that. They were very upfront, they were very honest with each other. I really did enjoy this. I enjoyed the town. He had a sister that played a really big part in it, and she did good. We didn't really hear too much about her co-workers. They didn't play too much of a big role. The town did seem nice, but I just loved the way he cared for her. He was always bringing her food. So once again, he was a really cute book boyfriend. He did really nice things for her and I enjoyed it. There were so many cute scenes in here, things that they did together. So romantic, so cute. So I would definitely read more from this author because it was just so good. It was so good. I don't think this one had any faith elements. It was just clean and closed door, and I really appreciate that. Like, you really wanted to know what was going to happen. She was very adamant about becoming his friend, and I like that the sister kind of stepped in and she was like, I don't trust you. My brother's heart is very fragile. Like, you need to back off. And I like that he was like, no, stay out my business. Like, once he started falling for the main character, Lola, he was like doing what he had to do for her. So like, that makes me almost say this is a 5. It was really good. I don't remember why I docked that half a point. I guess something was a little lacking while I was reading it, but it was so good. I definitely recommend that you read this book. So the last book that I read in the month of August is Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair. You guys know that I enjoy Emma St. Clair's writing, so this one was of course a 5 out of 5 stars for me, and it is a hockey romance. I love me some hockey romances. I love hockey and football. I think that's all I read. Did I read a baseball? I think I just like sports romance, because if I read a baseball, I feel like I would really like it because I like baseball players. I would probably like a soccer romance. I like sports. I really do love a sports romance. So this is hockey, and that works for me. It's the fictional team of the Appies, and apparently there's like a whole world with this team, and I feel like I would love that world because the team was just so cute. I love the relationship between this girl and the team and between the players. But let me just go ahead and read you guys the synopsis, because as you can tell, I'm already gushing over this book. It was so good. It says, before Logan Barnes was hockey's hottest bad boy, he was my brother's best friend and my first crush. Oh yeah, and the guy who ghosted me and broke my teenage heart. Now Logan is back in Harvest Hollow, but not willingly, recovering from an injury and some bad press. He's stuck playing for our minor league team, which means I'll be working with him almost daily. As the hockey team's social media manager, it's my job to wrangle all the guys into filming TikToks, trending videos, but Logan doesn't want to be wrangled. Turns out neither does my heart, because my old crush never died, and when Logan becomes my accidental fake boyfriend, those old feelings flare hot enough to melt the ice. But this is all totally one-sided, totally fake, isn't it? No matter what signals he seems to be giving me or how real things start to feel, I know Logan's not home for good. I survived him leaving me once, but this time I'm not sure my heart will recover. So y'all, this one right here was so cute. Loved it. First of all, Emma St. Clair is a wonderful author. She just gives you all the feels. And I'm usually not the hugest fan of fake dating, because I don't like the whole, is this fake? Is this real? Is this fake? Is this real? Because the guy in here was like trying to show her this is real. There just was that miscommunication of him just not sharing it all the way. But he was literally saying it, but in her head, to try to protect herself, she just didn't want to believe it, which I can understand, because he did leave without telling her and her brother goodbye. She's a social media manager, and I love her relationship with all of the guys on the team. They were so nice to her. They really put her on a pedestal, which I love that for her. Logan was an amazing gift giver, and you can tell he was a bad boy, but like really had a soft spot for her, and I love that trope. He literally moved next door to her in her apartment building when he was new in town. Like, he was just doing a lot of stuff for her. He would move the moon and stars for her, and I love that book trope. And I like that the third act conflict wasn't too much. You know, it wasn't too much, and she didn't make it super hard, and the miscommunication didn't last too long, and I love that. I needed to come together quick because it wasn't that big of a deal what she found out, because at the end of it, the ending was kind of shocking for me. Yeah, so I loved this fictional world. I also loved their small town. It was definitely fall vibes. It was giving pumpkin spice. It was giving apple fritter, and I was able to like envision all of it. I like that he was kind of like a celebrity. So alright y'all, that is the end of this little video. That is all that I read in the month of August. To me, it was a really good reading month. I am reading another book for the book club in the month of September. I already finished it. It is something else that is not exclusively Clean Closed Door, but I was able to find the modifications. Oh, I skipped over all the spice, and this book really has me a little conflicted about how I feel about it, but we'll talk about that in the next month, September's reading wrap up. So you girls already started reading. Once I got the Kindle app, there was a few books that I was able to read, so your girl's been reading up a storm. Okay, she has some books that is going to be in the next month's reading wrap up that hopefully you guys will enjoy, because I know so far I'm enjoying them. I hope you all liked this little video, and definitely let me know, what are you reading for fall? What is your go-to cozy fall book? I know so many people are just now getting on Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I read that book last year. I loved it. It was so cute, so small town, and now there's a second book in that little series. I think it's called the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. So I definitely might purchase that. I think it's only like $2.99, and I'll be able to let you guys know the closed door modifications for that. Definitely let me know if you are interested in it. I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure you follow me and friending me on Goodreads and on Instagram. It's at Everything by Maja. I'll be seeing you guys in my next upload.